doing there, Pipers? Yeah. Ooh, we just passed a couple throwing the truck real quick pieces of firewood. Well, it's your old boy Sasquatch Piper. You know, we got something important to talk about here. Sometimes you're driving in the woods or out hiking in the woods, and well, nature calls. I know a lot of people don't like to talk about that particular situation, but I think it's important for people to understand how you handle said situation when nature calls. We all do it. And let me tell you, nature's calling your old boy Squatch. Your old boy Squatch is very familiar with, well, pooping in the woods. So maybe Squatch will learn you the proper techniques to pooping in the woods. So come along, won't you? Why don't you? Something, will you? Come on, let's go do this. Let me show you how old Sasquatch Piper. I can't even keep it together. Anyhow, I'm serious though. This is serious. People don't like to discuss this, and you know, the city folk, they don't get out much. They're used to sitting, oh man, I wish they'd let me get some of that firewood. You know, they don't know how to handle said situation. And there's certain techniques that can make your life a lot easier or a lot worse. So let's get into this. So here you are. You're driving down the road. You have an emergency. We're going to cover side of the road emergencies also today on Pooping in the Woods. Obviously, you got to find a safe place to pull over and enough clearance to do certain techniques. And once we get out of the truck, we're going to show you said techniques. Now, we'll offer a couple different techniques. I know some people's backs, ankles, knees, hips aren't in the best of shape. So you got to approach this from different angles. So let's get into this. All right. So here you are. You pulled over on the side of the road. And I'll show you. There's the road there. We found a nice safe, we actually found a prime spot for pooping in the woods on the side of the road. So I'm going to show you Squatch's technique. Now Bandit doesn't have a problem. He's just going to poop wherever he wants. Nobody's going to think anything of a dog pooping on the side of the road in the woods. But your old boy Squatch, it could be an issue. Nobody wants to see that. So let me show you how I take care of it. You got your vehicle. In my case, it's a 4-door. You open your front door. You open your back door. Now you got, you're blocked from both sides. In my case, my truck sits pretty high. You're going to be down here, and well, people are going to see. They're going to see my junk dangling, they're going to see my poop dropping, and nobody wants to see that. So I have to, oh goodness gracious. I have to find a better spot. I have found a spot where I'm hidden in the woods, but we'll leave this situation and scenario in play First off, you don't, oh, hold on. No need to put your pipe down yet. In a more not so rural setting, you're going to want to leave your dog in the vehicle. You don't want him getting hit by a car. So, this is what you don't want to do. You don't want to just go for a squat. There's too many factors. I know it seems like the normal thing to do, but it's not. Or it feels like it is, but it's not the right and normal thing to do. So, in my particular case, there's a couple different methods you can use here. You can use the edge of your hind end right on the edge there. Now, we're not going to get too in detail. This is a family channel. So right there, you can just sit back and let it rip, and you're comfortable, and nobody's even going to see much of anything, even in my truck. Next, similar situation, but you're more of a sitting situation. I have steps on the side of my truck. Same edge of the hind end approach, but now I'm in a more better situation to completely evacuate my bowels. Perfect. That's another edge of the hind end. Then you got the shooter. For the shooter, they're all very simple, but for the shooter, you're going to want to turn around. You're going to want to find something to hang on to. And then you're going to hang on, and you're going to let her rip, and you're going to see how far you can shoot your projectiles. So there you have it. Wiping, on the other hand, that's a whole nother issue. If you're smart, you're always prepared. I don't like the crumble when I prepare for a wipe. I prefer the fold and roll method. Right around the hand, just like that. Look at that. You got coverage on your hand to keep from accident. Now, you don't want to stand up before you're done, because now you're going to get, well, the poop sliding between your cheeks. We don't want that. You want to stay bent over. Now, the shooter is a great way to handle this situation. And if you're a girl, you want to wipe from front to back. There you have it. This way is just as effective. Now you can put your pipe down. You got all kinds of places to set it. You can grab a cheek and spread and wipe. You know, this is a little better if your back, knees, hips aren't so good. So there is the side of the road. Side of the road, poop and scoot. And we're back. You can see I have a tree stand there. Let's say you're hiking down your favorite trail. You're out by the river. You're checking your tree stand cameras. You're just out in the woods. You're out in the wild. Nature calls. Here's another scenario. Right now, my availability is this tree. Now, you want a tree, as you can see here, nothing protruding from the tree. A nice for a tree, smoother surface, no branches sticking out, perfect spot. So we're going to show you how we handle this, huh, Bandit? Yeah, he's pretty excited. He really enjoys pooping in the woods. Come on, get out of my way. You're messing everything up. Now, we're running on the fly here. We got an old stump with a bunch of termites. Your options here are slim. Now you got to go for the leaner. Let's set my pipe down. Right there. Your only real option here, you can do the shooter, but it's a little more difficult if you got a bad back. You're just going to go for a lean like that, as if you were sitting down, but there's nothing under you. Hi, Bandit. We already went over the wiping techniques. Now we're just going over the techniques for actual poop action. So you got the leaner. Well, you know, you could read a paper like this. Now, if you're just doing a regular squat like this, you run the risk of having your shorts or pants down at your ankles and pooping on your clothes. Not cool at all. So you get up here and you lean down, lean your back against the tree. Now your pants or shorts are out in front of you. You don't run the risk of getting any defecation on your clothing. That branch tickled my butt, scared me. The wiping, same thing. You're sitting, you just stay here and you wipe. Simple as that. Now to do a shooter, you don't really have anything to grab onto. You're kind of just using this for balance against the tree. I got termites crawling all over my pipe, not cool. Wiping, same thing. But again, you're shooting said projectile away from your body and clothing. The leaner, you might get a little bit on the tree. That's okay, it's natural. Now for another scenario, while in the woods. You don't have a tree to lean on, but you have a stump or a rock. This is one of my favorite, more comfortable positions. There's a stump. When did leaning over get so hard? You only have one option here. The sitter. Leaning. Your weight's on the edge of your hind end. There you have it. Just like at the truck. Huh, Bandit boy. Wiping, everything else is the same as when you're leaning on a truck. So no need to get into a full discussion about that. So there you have, I don't know what we call this one. What would you call this one? Where you're on the edge of your hind quarters and letting everything flow so nothing gets on you or your clothing. And hopefully your dog's not getting in the way the whole time. Now last, but definitely not least, because all are just as important as the other, we're going to use the stump we used for the last technique to hold the camera. Uh-oh, this stump's rotten old stump. As you can see, you don't have much to lean on. There's no stump. There's no big tree to lean on. There's no stump to sit on the edge of. Let's say you have a little smaller tree like this. Bandit, get away from there. Go on. I don't want you pooping alone, Papa. All right, so you got, I wouldn't say a sapling, but you got a young tree. You can't lean on it because it's just going to fall over. See, very flimsy. So what you're going to do in this situation, you're going to do the shooter. Both of these next techniques are both shooter techniques. You're going to take your hand, whatever hand's more stable and more comfortable for you, and you're going to hang on to the tree, just like you did in the truck on the side of the road. poop's going the opposite way, away from you, away from your clothing. All's good. The wipe is the same. Okay, let's say you just have a tree. We'll just use this one for an example. Hopefully I don't fall over. We want to stay safe here. But it's covered in branches. You can't really hold here. It's a little too big to grab on with your hand. So what you want to do is you want to find a good live branch coming off of the tree. And instead of wrapping your hand around the tree, you're going to hold on to that branch. And you're going to lean into it. Again, the shooter technique. Right out the back, away from your clothes and away from you. You don't want the poo on you. I got the poo on me, but you don't want it on you. And that's what I'm trying to teach you here. The importance of technique while pooping in the woods or pooping the squatch. We don't know what we're going to call this video yet. But the idea mainly, keep the poo off of you, keep the poo off of your clothes, and get a good clean wipe. Spreading one cheek while wiping is the best technique for that. You're going to get a good, solid wipe in a nice open area. And if you do the wrap instead of the crumble, you run a lot less risk of a finger sliding off the paper and taking a ride through Mud Valley. So there you have it. Pooping in the woods with your old boy Squatch and Bandit.